All right, guys, back with another video here today, and this is just going to be, my rundown of my experience that I had going to Vengeance Day that happened just last night. Now, my voice is still a bit hurt because, that was a crazy show. I'm not going to lie to you. It was a crazy show. I had a great time. I'm going to have pictures. I'm going to show some pictures that I got, some of the best ones I could get as this video goes on, but really this is going to be a video of me, there, talking about my experience and how Vengeance Day was in person. So I'm going to get right into it. Vengeance Day in Charlotte, North Carolina for NXT just happened. It was a fantastic show in my eyes. Me and my homie, we left to go down to Charlotte around maybe 4. We live in South Carolina, so it's not really that far of a drive. It was about an hour or two. So we left around 4, got in the city around maybe 5. I'm going to check my tweet on that really quickly, but I think that's about where we got in. Let me see real quick. Yes, I do believe it was around 5. So we got in the city. I'm just going to keep going until I find the tweet. Then we got in the city. And we still had a lot of time before the show started, so, we're just chilling, walking around. I did see Roxanne walk into the building. I didn't get a picture of it, but I did see Roxanne walk into the building. Here it is. When did we get into the city? We got into the city around 5:24. So, around 5:30 we got into the city, so there was a good bit of time before the show started, so we got some food. Brother, we went to this place. We got in that restaurant around 5:53. We didn't get our food till like 6:53, so we waited a whole hour. So I know I'm not going back there probably anytime soon, but we'll see. But we ate, got some food in us, and then we headed to the Spectrum Center for NXT Vengeance Day. They gave us some yellow signs here. They gave us some yellow signs of the NXT logo. It was black and gold, or yellow, whatever you want to call it, but proper NXT colors, if I do say so myself. And so then we got into our seats. I'll see if I can get a video or something in here of where my seats are, where they were in the building, but we will see. But we got in our seats. The set was actually pretty decent. I like that they didn't just go with the regular. They didn't go with the regular stage set where they just had the big old screen and stuff like that, man. But they had a decent setup. It wasn't too flashy, but it was still better than what we've always had. So that's that. So now we're just sitting there, we're waiting for the show to begin. Alicia Taylor, she came out, introduced the commentators, got us hyped for Vengeance Day, and then the intro started. Of course, the Queen, Charlotte Flair, she did the little introduction video package for Vengeance Day. It was pretty cool to see that. And then the pay-per-view got started, and by that time, everybody was already hyped up. And we started off the show, oh my goodness, Dijak versus Wesley for the NXT North American Championship. Holy crap, man. That match really felt like the epitome of a black and gold NXT TakeOver, a prime NXT TakeOver matchup right there to kick off the show. What a matchup that was, man. Dijak and Wesley, they put on a show to kick off the show. And I didn't expect Wesley to win, honestly. I really thought Dijak was going to come out on top. But then the interference from Tony D and Stacks, and then Wesley getting the pin. Holy crap, man. That match, I kind of lost my voice during that matchup. Kind of lost my voice. And I had to go get some water bottles after that because, oh, man, that match had everybody out of their seats. We were all going crazy. Man, that match was amazing. Like, Wesley, he's a real underdog. He's a real underdog. And Dijak, he did very well. The strength spot for Wesley where he was able to German suplex Dijak, that was pretty cool. We had some very cool reversals, especially the one in the corner where Wesley was able to counter the power bomb off the top rope from Dijak. And so, then he did the little backflip kick for the win. Man, that match, man, a lot of stress-inducing kickouts, to say the least. A lot of heart-pounding kickouts in that matchup. I was really impressed. Shawn Michaels, he did cook up with that match. Also, Shawn Michaels, he did pull up at the beginning of the show. Well, not really the beginning, but while the pre-show was going on, obviously they didn't have the pre-show live there in the Spectrum Center, but while the pre-show was going on, we did have Shawn Michaels come out and talk to us about how NXT was back on the road and how he expected it to be a great show, and it was a very good show. I was very impressed. So, yeah, that was a pretty exciting matchup to open the show. That is the type of matchup that they needed to open the show, and oh yeah, Wesley and Dijak, they absolutely delivered. What a matchup, what a match. At some point, I'm going to have to go rewatch Vengeance Day just to relive the magic that happened during that matchup, because that was amazing, man. Oh, boy. But now we're going to get into the next matchup, which was Katana Chance and Kayden Carter, the NXT Women's Tag Team Champions, taking on Fallon Henley and Kiana James. And for me, I did need this matchup because this was, the breather match. We just had to relax for a little bit after the absolute banger that we just saw. By the way, Wesley versus Dijak match of the night. Honestly, in my opinion, that was the match of the night. But yeah, Fallon Henley and Kiana James did end up getting the upset and winning the NXT Women's Tag Team Championships, ending the long reign of Katana Chance and Kayden Carter. Pretty decent matchup. They had some good spots here and there during that match. Really, just a breather match, of course. And it was a pretty decent matchup, even though it was a breather match, and it was a breather that was desperately needed. But yeah, Fallon Henley and Kiana James, they were able to put their differences aside, and now look at them. They are the new NXT Women's Tag Team Champions. Josh Briggs and Brooks Jensen were also out there, so they all had a great time out there. Pretty decent matchup for a breather. And so, yeah, I don't think there's really much else to discuss with that match. There may be a rematch. I'm not sure, because Fallon and Kiana did win, because Fallon rolled her up and then Kiana held down Fallon. I can't remember what it was, but Kiana got involved in the pinfall, and then Kayden couldn't kick out, and then that would cause the victory for Kiana and Fallon. So I don't know if there will be a rematch, but we'll just have to wait and see. Oh, man. Up next was, it was Carmelo Hayes and Apollo Crews in the 2 out of 3 falls match. And I could only get really like one good shot in this matchup. And it wasn't even during the match. It was just an entrance of Melo. So sadly, I couldn't get a lot of good shots here. But pretty decent matchup. How can I put this? It wasn't the type of matchup I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be a little bit better than what they showed us out there, but it was still a pretty decent matchup. Melo would end up picking the win 2-0. Apollo didn't even get a fall. We would see the return of Dabba-Kato as he tried to help Apollo get back in the matchup because he took out Trick. By the way, Trick had us crying during the entire matchup, bro. Trick Williams is a treasure, man. The pairing of him and Melo has been golden ever since they got together, and really, it's probably the best pairing we've seen in a while. But yeah, Trick Williams played a good role in that matchup. Melo would pick up the win 2-0, and then Dabba-Kato at the end of the matchup would turn on Apollo Crews. And so I don't know if that's going to set up a matchup between those two at Stand and Deliver. I'm not sure. I'm kind of expecting it. But yeah, the match was kind of underwhelming. Melo, though, did pick up the win. Thank God that he did. 2-0. I predicted, us in our section, all of us, we were like, hey, just have Melo win 2-0, and it happened. So Melo would pick up the win over Apollo Crews. Pretty decent stuff, if I do say so myself. And we'll come back to Melo at the end of the show, as you guys already know, but we will come back around to Melo in a little bit. Let me see, what was next after that? I remember it being, I think it was golly, it's already a blur to me. Let me see. I want to say it was, yes, it was. It was the Fatal 4-Way NXT Tag Team Championship matchup, and that was between Gallus, it was between the New Day, the champions, of course, Chase U, and Pretty Deadly. A pretty good match. I think that Fatal 4-Way Tag Team match and the opener was the loudest reactions that they got from us at Vengeance Day. Those two matches were amazing. Gallus would end up walking out with the NXT Tag Team Championships. And a lot of great spots during that matchup. Chase U was over. The Andre Chase chant with spelling out Chase U. Man, I saw a clip of it on Twitter on the ride back. And oh man, yeah, we were into this matchup, man. The table spots, pretty deadly, of course. Not wanting to break the table. We were not pretty happy about that. But then Gallus gave us what we wanted, putting Duke Hudson through the table. I gotta say, every team, they played a good part in this matchup. They all did pretty well. Of course, the New Day, of course, got the biggest reaction out of everybody, and I couldn't get any good New Day pictures either. I was bummed out, but at the end of the day, it is what it is there. But yeah, pretty solid matchup. Every team played their part well, and they all did pretty good. But at the end of the day, of course, Gallus did walk out with the NXT Tag Team titles. So what's next for all these teams? I don't know. I don't know what's next for the New Day. They're definitely going back to the main roster now after that. But will they be there for WrestleMania? I don't know. We'll just have to wait and find out. Of course, WrestleMania, a couple of months away, really. So we'll just have to see what they can build up for the New Day. But yeah, Gallus is your new NXT Tag Team Champions. Then the semi-main event, of course, we had the borderline 2-on-1 handicap match, in quotation marks, the triple threat match for the NXT Women's Championship. Roxanne Perez defending against Toxic Attractions, Jacy Jayne, and Gigi Dolan. Pretty okay matchup. Of course, we needed another break after that amazing Fatal 4-Way Tag Team match, but it is what it is. But still, pretty solid matchup. Roxanne will retain the championship, of course. And Gigi and Jacy, they went at it a couple of times during this matchup. But knowing WWE, right, they're just going to be teaming up with each other on the next episode of NXT like none of this ever happened. So yeah, it is what it is there. But pretty decent matchup. Has some quality spots throughout the matchup. Gigi went through the table for the table spot, and then Roxanne would win it with the pop rocks off the top rope to Jacy Jayne, picking up the win. And during the little chants of "Let's Go Roxy" and "Let's Go Gigi," there were no Jacy chants. Now, I was cheering for Roxanne for most of this matchup, but during that chant, I was on the "Let's Go Gigi" side, because I do, in my personal opinion, I think Gigi Dolan is the best member of Toxic Attraction. That's just my personal opinion. I've seen her stuff on the indies, and yeah, I feel like she's a pretty good wrestler. Obviously, she hasn't been as good in NXT than the indies, but I still feel like she still brings a lot to the table. And I feel like she could be a future champion, future singles champion, I may add. But yeah, I was on the "Let's Go Gigi" side during those chants. There were a lot of "Let's Go Roxy" and "Let's Go Gigi," but no Jacy chants. And I was honestly kind of surprised. Sadly, Jacy was the third wheel in that matchup, which she is actually good. I do like Jacy. I just think Gigi's just a little bit better. If you have a different opinion on that, then it is what it is. I just think that Gigi's the best member of Toxic Attraction. And so, yeah, that's the end of that matchup. Then, of course, we had the main event, Braun Breaker versus Grayson Waller. Steel cage matchup for the NXT Championship. No escape permitted whatsoever. That was not going to win them the match. Pretty decent match. It had Waller basically mocking Braun all matchup here. And then Braun Breaker would still pick up the win regardless, retaining the NXT Championship once again. And yeah, Braun will retain in a pretty average steel cage match main event. Steel cage matches really sometimes aren't that good, but it is what it is. But at the end of the matchup, we would see Carmelo Hayes walk out, and we are probably looking at our matchup for the NXT Championship at Stand and Deliver. So yeah, I had a really, really, really good time at Vengeance Day. It was a pretty good experience for me. And yeah, I really did like the show. So we're just going to have to wait and see what NXT does next. Hopefully, this is a good thing for NXT. The production was pretty good. Matchups were solid across the board. And yeah, they put on a pretty good show. And I think they should start going on the road a lot more. As you saw, the reactions they could get on the road with these types of matchups could be pretty solid. So, hey, we'll just have to see what happens. Obviously, I don't think Stand and Deliver is going to be what Vengeance Day was, because, I mean, that's in the morning on WrestleMania weekend. They got to do something better than that. But But other than that, yeah, that was my experience at Vengeance Day. I lost my voice. My voice hurt. It still does. But yeah, I'm just gonna have to just sit here. But yeah, that was my experience with Vengeance Day. Really loved the entire event, and I'm very glad that I was able to head to this show. So yeah, I'll see you guys whenever my voice stops hurting. Hopefully it doesn't take that long. I will see you guys next time. Take care.